How did you feel when you found out you're having quadruplets?
I was confused. I didn't know what the ultrasound technician meant when she told me that I had 4 sacs, which is even more confusing because I already had a child, so I know how the process worked.
It was a huge surprise. Wendy came up to where I was working at the time, and I was in a meeting, so I had to come out of the meeting and go downstairs, and it was just shock. I didn't even really know what I was looking at because she brought the ultrasound picture. It was really, I kind of, as she says, turned white. I didn't really know what was happening.
What were your emotions going through on February 12th, 2004, knowing that you were going to officially be the parents of quadruplets that day?
I think that day it was, I guess, for me, just all business. Adeline's water broke. I knew that one of the babies did. I didn't know whose did at the time, so I knew I was going to have a baby because the same thing happened when I had Gavin, but that's just one as opposed to 4 babies in my belly. But I was in the hospital for 2.5 months. I had plenty of time to think about or worry what's going to happen. How am I going to go from 1 child to 5 children? I think I kind of had an idea I'd be having the baby soon because the nurses said that my attitude shifted a little, that for being the first person in the hospital in Providence to have quadruplets, that I was very pleasant and easygoing and one of the best patients they ever had. And then I was not feeling as well because I was so big and I couldn't move and it hurt, and I couldn't eat.
I got the news and had to rush to the hospital, so when I got there, they were wheeling your mother out of her room and into surgery. So the biggest thing that, or the most, I guess, craziest thing was that they each quad baby had 6 doctors/nurses that had paid attention to each one. So going into the surgery, it was a lot of people in one room, and it was just chaos. It was probably 30 plus people in there.
What do you guys have?
And then when they were born, I didn't get to see them pulling the babies out, but they would hold them up and say, baby A, baby B, because that's how they identified them while they're in her stomach. And then when baby C came out, kind of funny, Carter, he was actually holding on to Duncan's umbilical cord, and he wouldn't let go. So the doctor's like, this one's a tough one. He's not going to let go of his brother. So they ended up pulling him out. And then they would put you all in your own individual incubators because you're obviously premature.
I don't know if you want to talk about when they came out.
No, when they were born, definitely worried when they were, when you guys were born because you were premature and they had you in your little incubators. And we used to have to go in and they would feed you through a tube in your nose.
And breathing.
Yeah.
A tube for breathing.
And a tube for breathing. So it was definitely, I wouldn't say worrisome because I think you guys were, for premature babies, I guess, healthy. But we would have to scrub down and go in and feed you kids. We would have to tip the bottle up so that it would go through your nose and into your stomach. But everybody progressed really
You guys excited for
really
Gavin
well.
to take the
The
bus?
grateful part of it is,
Yeah.
I don't know how we could be any more blessed to have such
What'd
healthy,
you say?
full-grown
No, he-
children. Like, no, there wasn't any birth defects.
Yep.
You didn't have any other, problems medically wise. No other diseases, no other syndromes, anything like that. So we couldn't be any luckier to have, kids that were 3 pounds, 3'11", 3'14", 4'3", 4'7", and now you guys, well, Adeline's 5'4", and then we have another one who's 5'10" and a half.
5'10" and a half, yeah. That's one of my worries was because they were born small. I didn't think that they would actually grow to be, I thought everybody would be very small.
It was definitely a process because not everyone drinks the same amount or gets what they need nutrition-wise, so we had to color code what you guys were drinking and eating basically, because if I didn't do that with the bottles, I wouldn't know who was, had how much of the sustenance they needed and
Adeline
all
was
that.
purple
Or pink.
or pink.
But it was a lot to coordinate, to set up all the bottles and the feeding times. We actually kept to the same schedule that they did in the NICU, so they had to wake you guys up. I wasn't the type of like, oh, we'll just wait they didn't wait in the hospital for you guys to all wake up. They woke you up, they fed you, put you back, next one.
Yeah, we would wake you all up. So at 2 in the morning, it wasn't always the same 2, but 2 would wake up. And then the other 2 were asleep. So we would wake the other 2 up, and we would I think listen to MTV for some reason and feed all of you at 2, and then we would put you back. But I will say that you guys were very good about, we woke you up once to feed you at 2, and then you wouldn't wake up again until 6.
It wasn't always that smooth from day one, but you got on a routine. Like I always say, that God blessed us. No one was colicky, no one was up all night screaming, crying. It was just, to me.
Till you got older and decided that you were going to roam between rooms. That was interesting.
Again, you guys came home separately because you were in the NICU, but we were fortunate to have his mom to stay with us for the first 3 months, and that was helpful for if she could watch you guys while Dave had to go to work, and I would go to the hospital because I didn't want a day to go by that I wasn't visiting one of you guys in the hospital who had to stay back, like Duncan was there for the longest amount of time. So we had Grammy, who was with us for 3 months, and then
Carmi.
We had my Aunt Carmi, who came every Monday faithfully until you guys were 3 years old and went to preschool on Mondays. She came every Monday, and then my mother would come every Friday.
Gavin, do you think he ever felt left out growing up? Because, everyone always calls us, like, it's always Gavin in the quads, or like the Youngclaus clan. Do you think he liked having all of us?
I definitely think that he loved having you guys. He was the most helpful 18-month-old baby who was still in diapers, and he was still a baby at the time himself, but when I was working full-time, he was in daycare, so he was around other babies, so I think that was easier, like, to the lead into, like, oh, well, there's always been babies around him. So we would say, Gavin, go get a diaper. Gavin, go get the blue bottle. Or
go get the bottle.
Yeah, and he'd run, and then he'd, like, Gavin, hold this bottle. And, yeah, I don't feel like even growing up because, I don't know, we treated you all like you're just 5 children, not you guys weren't any different than,
Do you think we got along growing up? Like, all of us together?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I've grown up with cousins that fought a lot more, and other people you see don't get along. You guys definitely all have your own personalities. Even from when you were little, it was clear cut that everyone's different, but you had enough interest and similarity that you guys got along really well for having 5 kids all the same age all the time.
Yeah, overall though, you guys got along extremely well, and I still think you guys do, and I still think you guys have that quadruplet camaraderie where you protect each other, especially Adeline. She won't have anybody talking bad about her brothers, period.
How was sports growing up? Like, how did you manage all of that?
That was a lot to manage, especially if you weren't all on the same team, athletics-wise. Some were better than others, so some would be on the B team, some were always on the A team. So to try and manage how to get everyone where they needed to be and keep that schedule was a lot. I would put on the calendar, I'd put on my phone to make sure that we got you everywhere you need to be. And then I think it was the equipment that I think was a struggle to find all the same sizes for all you guys to be able to have your, everything you need for your sports. We did a lot of, because when you grow, you only wear that for like 1 season, so we did some exchanging, like bring it back and go into the consignment, but yeah, what do you think about the sports?
Yeah, it was something that we actually kind of required of you guys to play a sport each season. And it ended up I pushed you kids into hockey, with the exception of Carter, who didn't want to play hockey. So it was expensive for sure. But yeah, we always do, and we still to this day tell you kids that if you're not going to play a sport, then you have to find something to do. You have to find music or art or TD Pro or, you know, whatever your interests are. You have to do something besides school. There has to be an extracurricular activity. And every one of you has taken to it, some more than others. Some more go to sports more than well, that's not true. I guess they all do kind of gravitate towards sports.
We offered other things if you guys want to take like piano lessons or if you want to do ballet or gymnastics, but nothing ever stuck as much as the sports did. But definitely a challenge to try and coordinate and get you guys everywhere you needed to be.
Especially on different teams, that was tough. Yeah. And with an older brother. So you had your older brother who was obviously on a different team, and then you guys at different levels of what you were playing were obviously on different teams. So, or I shouldn't say obviously, but we're on different teams. So it was a lot of, I would go one place, she would go another place. So, yeah.
Tell us how you incorporated animals into our family.
Well, I've always grown up with dogs, different types of dogs, Weimaraners, Labs, and Chesapeake Bay Retrievers, but I gravitated towards Chessies. These are Chesapeake Bay Retrievers, and we originally had Murray, and since he passed, you got Quincy for your 10th birthday, and then I decided to make the quarantine decision of getting another Chessie, and this is Maple.
We
Yes.
had, when you guys were born, we had Murray, as you said, and we had 2 cats who were really great cats. They were really good with you being babies as quadruplets because they went from just one little baby around to 5 little babies who would lie on them, pull their tails, kind of chase them around, and these cats were the nicest cats. We've continued to have cats. We have 2 cats now. We've had 3 cats. We have bunnies. That didn't work out
Not a fan of cats.
well, but yeah, always animals. I grew up with animals. Our parents have animals. My parents.
So as if our family wasn't big enough, we decided to add to it with the pets.
2 dogs, cats.
2
Everyone
dogs.
says we're crazy when we have 7 of us in the family. Oh, can I ever say a fun fact?
Yes.
7 of us in the family, because you guys are quadruplets and you share a birthday. We only have 3 birthdays for 7 people in the family because Gavin was born on my birthday. So there's August, there's February, the quadruplets, and then he has June. That's my fun fact. 7 people, 3 birthdays.
Mabel, say hi to the camera.
Do I say hi?
Say hi. Good girl.
Here we are, quadruplets. Okay, so I'm Adeline, this is Brody, Carter, and Duncan. Yes, it goes in ABCD order, like we said. You guys want to say anything about yourselves?
I don't know. I don't got much to say. I'm Brody. I was the second one. Third one. Fourth one.
First one. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions. Growing up, did you guys like sharing a birthday, or how did you feel about it?
No, it's bad.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like when you have a birthday, it's supposed to be like the day that's like all about you, and like everyone celebrates it for you, and then you just have to share it. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like a birthday is like meant to be an individual thing, but I guess I don't mind sharing it.
I don't really have an opinion. I've never not shared a birthday, so.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, I guess it's like normal to share a birthday because we've been doing it our whole life. When people ask us, oh, how's it like being a quadruplet? I don't really know how to answer that question. I feel like we all probably have the same answer, but my answer would be like, well, it's completely normal to me. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's crazy. It's a fun fact, but my whole entire life I've been a quadruplet, so.
It's like we've never even like known what it's like not being quadruplet. So it's like, what's it like not being quadruplet? Like that's what I would ask people.
Yeah. What do you guys think the best part about being a quadruplet is?
We're all the same age, so like, when we were little, we all wanted the same thing. We could all like play with each other when we were little.
Yeah, it makes it easier going to like going to a school, you already have someone, like 3 people that you know, and you've known them your whole life, so it's like, it's pretty easy that, because we all have pretty similar interests too, so it's like, whenever we go through something, we're going through it with 3 different people at the same time, so.
During school, did you guys like having, or I know we've already really talked about this, but did you like having another sibling like in each class, or how did you feel about that?
Yeah, I definitely liked it. Like in elementary school, when it was like, it would switch, like you would rotate through, like each sibling having each year. So like, I guess that was kind of fun because if you had enough of one of those siblings for 1 year, then you move on to the next one. But yeah, you would always like have a friend no matter what, throughout elementary school and like still throughout high school and middle school. But that's kind of when the classes got like a little bit more different, so you didn't have as many classes. But when I do have classes with my siblings, like, it's always good to know that I'll have at least one person that I can talk to in class.
Same thing. I don't really remember much about when we switched classes, and we had different person every year. I don't know who I had each year, but I
You
don't know.
don't?
No, I don't remember. But I guess it was better than having nobody.
And I did like it sometimes because I can just take their answers.
That's the only
That's
person.
true. I do remember that.
I feel like I liked it when I was younger, or like I do like it, but I always liked having someone, like, when you meet new people, it's kind of scary. Well, not really as a kid, but you know, teachers like, oh, partner work, project, or whatever, you would have your brother, or for me, I would have my brother, to do that with. But, like, I did go to a certain age where I was like, oh, I want to be alone, like in middle school, you know, that stage, and I'm like, I wish I had a class, just my friends and whatever. But that was like short-lived, and then I ended up being like, oh, I wish I had my brothers in my class, so I can talk to them, because obviously we're smarter, some people are smarter than others, so we don't have the same classes now.
No, you just wander and then find us.
Yeah, I eventually find them.
She shows up to everybody's lunch.
Yeah. So a lot of people ask me this question. I don't know if they ask you guys this question, but do you guys think twin telepathy is real?
Yes.
We can test it out right now.
We could.
Alright, think of a number 1 through 5 and say it out loud in 3. 1, 2, 3,
4!
3!
Oh!
You got 3?
I got 3.
Me and Carter got 3. Duncan and Birdie got 4. But the funny thing is that me and Carter, growing up, we have this crazy twin telepathy. So he would mumble a lot when he was younger, like a little baby. He would just mumble.
Well, mean of you.
No, like when he was a baby, like when you're like first starting to talk.
Oh.
And my dad wouldn't know what he was saying, and then so he would call me over. Like he would be speaking gibberish, not just mumbling. He just wouldn't say like English.
Speaking German. That's
Yeah,
a little baby.
German. And he would call me over and be like, Adeline, what is Carter saying? And I would know every time. Carter would be like, yeah, that's what I was saying. Which I thought was kind of interesting, like funny story. But there was one car ride when we were driving to the Outer Banks, which is a very long car ride. And me and Carter were like, oh, I wonder if we can like, you know, think of the same thing or whatever. And so we were doing it, and like it was almost every single time or every other time where we would get the same thing, and
It was creepy.
we were going crazy. And then
remember that.
eventually we were doing it so much, and it was so funny that our parents had to tell us to stop because it was just getting annoying. Think of an animal. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Zebra!
I actually was thinking of zebra too.
Going off of looking up to each other, do you guys like look up to like us, or like how do you guys feel about like, I don't know, for me personally, you guys motivate me to do better. Like throughout all of high school, I because there was a point where we almost went to different schools, and I was really upset about that because I wanted to go to a different school than the boys, but I was like, well, I want to graduate with them, so that was hard for me. And then my motivation throughout high school is just to graduate with my brothers and stuff like that. So I feel like it's like very important to have them by my side in high school and stuff like that. Like they always cheer me up and stuff, so, and they always motivate me to do better and help me with my homework and all of that. So.
I definitely agree with like it helps having like the other three, because like I feel like we all have our own things that we're more skilled at than one another. So like if I struggle with a certain thing, I just think of like, how does Adeline do it, or how does Carter do it, or like how does Duncan do it. Like if it comes to sports, like Duncan's pretty already athletically gifted, but he also works hard. So like if I want to like get better, I like work hard, and it's easier to work hard when you have someone in your house working as hard. That's just one example.
Yeah.
I would look up to him if I don't know anything in math.
Yeah, Birdie's smart, so sometimes he can be our tutor. I like to call him.
And football. I don't know anything about football.
Yeah, I feel like interest-wise, we all have pretty much the same interest in sports, but like it like when it comes to like shows and stuff like that, I've kind of started watching like more of stuff that Carter watches that I used to never watch, and I feel like Carter's watched a lot of what I watch that he used to never watch. So like that kind of interest has like blended a little bit more as of recent.
I think that we grow off of each other's strengths. So, and we build off of it. Ending it off, we're at the age now where we're going to college.
Some of us.
Some of us are going. We're gonna split our separate ways. How do you guys feel about that? For me personally, I'm really sad because. Anyways,
That's brothers.
I'm really sad because I've always had them, like, my whole entire life, and this is, like, the one time that we're all going to be separated.
Well, we're not dying.
So, we're not dying. Like, we can text each other and stuff, but I don't know, it's sad for me because I always have you guys.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, I never really thought about how it's going to be, because I guess I always knew that it would come eventually, like when we all have to do our own thing in life. But I mean, there's still a possibility of me and Duncan going to the same college, so.
Have much of an opinion. It's not going to be much different. A little boring, maybe a little quieter.
Definitely.
I think it will like hit us when it actually happens. Guess that's all I have to say.
Hi guys.
This is the Youngclaus clan!
I'm Dad. Duncan, Carter, Adeline, Mom, Brody, and Gavin.
Just in case you forgot.
Throughout this whole documentary.
And Quincy and Maple.
The quadruplets wasn't always easy, wasn't always great, but I wouldn't change it for anything.
Take 5.